Back, everyone. Happy to bring on our last presenter for this day's conference. Please welcome Grom Social Enterprises, Inc. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol GROM and is a social media and entertainment platform for children under 13, providing safe and secure digital environments that can be monitored by their parents or guardians. Please welcome its CEO, Darren Marks, and the president, Paul Ward. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Well, as a brother, I look forward to hearing this presentation. Take it away, gentlemen.
Great.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank you all for joining. Again, my name is Darren Marks. I am the CEO of Grom Social, the president of Grom Social. Let me tell you a little bit about what Grom Social Enterprises is. An entertainment technology and social media company dedicated to family-friendly programming, web filter technology, safe and secure social media for kids. What sets us apart is that we invite parents and caregivers to join us in playing an active role to keep kids safe, engaged, and of course, highly entertained. We've assembled a pretty impressive management over here I'd like to tell you a little bit about. Zach Marks actually is the founder of Grom Social at the ripe old age of 21 now. He's our chief kid officer, and his ability to go out and look at platforms and see what's trending, what's popular, bring that back to our development team, and then scale it out through our multiple platforms in a kid-friendly environment with complete parental oversight. Myself and Mel Liner, our VP of Finance, have over 70 years experience in public and private markets. I think our real skill set is that we understand how to create shareholder value in public companies and have a long track record of doing that. Jason Williams, our soon-to-be CFO, has over 20 years of leadership as an executive in the finance and operations for both publicly and privately held companies. Jason's been with the company since inception, so his transition over to CFO is going to go very smoothly because he's as knowledgeable as anyone in the company about how the company operates. Wayne Deering's the founder and managing director of Top Jaw Animation. Wayne brings over 40 years experience in the animation industry. He started his career with Hanna-Barbera Studios. And joining me on the call, as I mentioned, Paul Ward, who is a rock star, a recently new hire about 4 months ago. Paul, 23-year experience as an executive vice president. During his tenure with Nickelodeon, he ran Nick at Night. But his real skill is understanding kids and family entertainment. And we are just so happy to have him here at the company. Another superstar we brought on recently is Russell Hicks, our CCO of Curiosity Inc. Media. I'm going to be talking about that new acquisition here in just a moment. He's also the president of Top Jaw Animation. He was the president of Nickelodeon Animation Studios and was the mastermind behind a few franchises that you might recognize: Scooby-Doo, SpongeBob SquarePants, and of course, Dora the Explorer, just to name a few. We run our business in 4 divisions currently. Grom Social Inc. Think TikTok meets Instagram with the user-generated content model of YouTube, with the streaming services of Netflix, all within a safe 24/7 live monitor environment with complete parental oversight. Grom Educational Services, our 2nd division. We filter the web, part of a SIPA law that's federally mandated in schools and federally funded buildings throughout the United States. Top Jaw Animation is a world-class, award-winning 2D animation studio that's generated over $25 million in EBITDA since inception. And our newest acquisition, and again, you'll be hearing about this shortly, is Curiosity Inc. Media, is a cross-platform media entertainment company serving kids and families with groundbreaking original storytelling content. I like to look at this next slide as a Grom selfie. Imagine a 20,000-foot view, if you will, of how you should look at our business. A couple things that stick out that I want to highlight. We have over 1,400 hours of exclusive content that we've produced in our studios that is short form, averaging between 3.5 and 7 minutes. We've been able to get the cost of those episodes down to about $2,500. We've filtered the web for 2 billion transactions in the United States schools so far. Yes, 2 billion web filter attempts in the United States school systems. We have 24 million kids and families and parents that have been part of the Grom social platform since inception. All of our customers are blue chip. You have Disney, Warner Brothers, Nickelodeon, DreamWorks, just to name a few. So some of the biggest, largest mass media companies on the planet have trusted us with some of their most prized IP. Original storytelling. This is, again, a new part of our business due to an acquisition we currently made, Curiosity Inc. Media. We now have the ability to be in the oh so popular and red hot IP, original content. So we have animated series, graphic novels, early reader books, theatrical releases, and premium partners that we can now bring to this wonderful company that we've built. And most importantly to me and the rest of the team here is consumer trust. We are COPPA compliant, round-the-clock monitoring, and parental controls throughout the platform. We've been endorsed by the United Nations Global Compact, John Walsh Foundation, PTA, the National Parenting Educational Network, just to name a few who have trusted us to pass this on to their parents. Now, social media is obviously a very big deal. I'm a father of 6, so I've lived this in my own living room for years. Paul is going to walk us through the challenges of social media, the answers. With that being said, Paul, I'd like to introduce you to the group here, if you would.
Absolutely. And thank you, Darren. So, yeah, I think it's really helpful if we start off with the mothership, which is Grom Social. So this is something that's been generating a lot of headlines lately. It's about younger kids and social media. You know, as you may have seen, Facebook, Instagram announced that they were dipping their toe into Instagram social media for kids. And it's raised a lot of noise. Here's why, because most kids under the age of 13 are not supposed to be on social media, Snapchat, Insta, TikTok, Facebook, any of those, without their parents' permission. Okay, a good number of them find their way onto these sites in the absence of that. The reason they're not supposed to be on that site is those companies can't protect those kids from the sorts of things that parents want to protect their kids from. Harmful language, negative language, abusive, bullying, just generally abusive behavior. And if you look at these stats, 3 in 4 today's parents worry about their kids being exposed to harmful and negative content. And teenagers themselves, 1 in 4 teenagers report being bullied online, and fully half of them had a front row seat to another kid being bullied online. So as you can see, there's a real market need for Grom Social. And the fact that Facebook and Instagram are getting into this means that we're really onto something. And we believe that we are going to have the blue standard for protecting younger kids in a social media environment. But we're not. So here's what we're doing with Grom Social. We're protecting kids 24/7. We are the only COPPA compliant social media app for kids under 13 that allows them to record and share videos. Darren mentioned COPPA compliance under our Grom Selfie. Basically, it stands for the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. That means you protect kids online, you do everything that you can to safeguard them, and nobody does it better than Grom. And kids don't care about safety, their parents do. But for the kids that come to our site, they're getting a lot of the social media that the bigger kids are getting, but without a lot of the harmful negative behaviors. They're getting a sense of community with other Grom users. We give them exclusive content. They have live commenting, there's hashtags, there's streaming video, direct messaging, and they can message and interact with original Grom characters. So this is a real feather in our cap, and this is something we're cultivating in a big way. Now, as Darren mentioned, I came from Nickelodeon and Nick at Night, and I bring a programmer sensibility to this company. And I think it's really important not just to have all of these amazing bells and whistles for kids on social, but also to give them a recurring reason to come back. Well, we've got the biggest gift possible this week in our #1 influencer. Her name is Caroline Marks, and she is in Tokyo right now, and she is part of the very first U.S. women's surfing team. So we're really excited. Youngest surfer ever to qualify for the World Surfing League. She is giving our audience live updates from Tokyo. She's created all sorts of exclusive content. There's more that's going to be coming out of the Olympic Village. She just arrived there. Opening ceremonies are Friday night. Additionally, she's been named 2022 Special Ambassador, and this is all being capped off with dozens of major national media appearances. NBC Sports, The Today Show, Jimmy Kimmel, Ellen, SI people. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And again, she's our star influencer. She's creating exclusive content for our audience, and we're showing her some love with some exclusive content that the Grom users are enjoying this week. So we're not just protecting kids online and social media, we're also protecting them in schools through our division called Grom Educational. Grom Educational has one core product, and it's called Netspective Web Filtering Solution. The way it works is when a school system is issuing devices or internet services to their students, they are responsible for protecting those kids on school devices and in learning environments. Netspective Web Filtering Solutions prevents kids from wandering off wherever they want to on the internet. This stops all sorts of attempts, but in the process of doing this, we also offer the kids that come to us a digital citizenship license course. We educate them. They take a test, they earn a merit badge, and they understand the dangers that lie in social media, so that we're not just providing the service, but we're also helping to educate younger kids about some of the watchouts that they need to be mindful of when it comes to social media. So it's exclusive educational content. This has been around since 2003. We're protecting millions of kids in thousands of U.S. schools, and this is a centerpiece of Grom that we're incredibly proud of. So I'm going to turn it over to Darren. Darren, why don't you talk about our animation studio in the Philippines?
Thank you so much. As Paul mentioned, we run a state-of-the-art, world-class 2D animation studio located in Manila, Philippines. We have over 400 global animation experts at that facility. And because of the new acquisition we just did, animation studio.
Hey, Darren, I apologize.
So we'll actually have two different revenue streams. Say again, Paul?
I'm sorry, you were breaking up slightly. If you need me to, I'll jump in. But keep going. You were talking about the creative services.
So for the first time ever, my apologies, we're able to offer creative services through Top Jaw Animation since we onboarded Russell Hicks, the former president of Nickelodeon Animation Studios. So this is going to give us two distinct revenue streams in this division. As you can see here, we have the trust of some of the world's biggest mass media companies in the world in producing some of their most popular IP. We do a great little show called My Little Pony for Hasbro, the Tom and Jerry Show, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and the Loud House for Nickelodeon, and Pen Zero for Disney. So not only have we gained the confidence and the trust of these large mass media companies, we're also very profitable. As you can see here, 2017 through 19, we had EBITDA ranging from $1.5 to $2.4 million. These are audited numbers. Even through COVID, which was a slow period for the entire world, we were still able to reach almost the $800,000 in EBITDA. And if you have followed the stock, or if you want to go check our first earnings report, we're very close to getting back to pre-COVID type numbers. So what you're going to see in this division is continued growth. You're going to see us onboarding additional customers that have trusted us to build, again, some of their most popular IP. So I want to leave you with this one last thought here on Top Jaw Animation. If you took all the content that we've produced since the company started, you can run it on Cartoon Network 24 hours a day for 42 consecutive days. That just shows you the type of volume of work that we've put out with Top Jaw Animation. I'm going to turn over to what's probably the most exciting new thing that's happened to Grom, a new acquisition, one of Paul's dear friends. Paul, if you would walk us through this.
Sure, and thank you, Darren. I think that this demands a little bit of backgrounder. So when I was approached by Grom about joining the company several months ago, one of the first things I said to Darren was, I'd hate to talk myself out of a gig, but this animation studio is a gold mine for you guys. You really need somebody who's conversant in animation, which is not me. And I suggested that quite candidly that there were two opportunities here: one to oversee animation, one to help drive on all the other lines of business within Grom. And I sent him over to my friend Russell Hicks. Russell, when I was executive vice president of primetime and overnight for Nickelodeon, Russell was head of live action and animation for Nickelodeon, and we loved working with one another. I think he's brilliant. He's a visionary. And in the process of Darren speaking with Russell, it was decided we were going to acquire Curiosity Inc. Media. Well, we could not have done it at a better time, because now we have new leadership at Top Draw Animation, which is going to give this 450 animator studio in the Philippines a pretty meaningful presence in Hollywood, where Curiosity is headquartered. And so we're really excited about that. But I wanted to take a moment to walk you through some of the incredible IP that we believe is going to unlock massive revenue potential, not just for Curiosity, but for Grom and all of our stakeholders. Let me start with Santa.com. This is something we've rolled up our sleeves in a big, bad way on, and this is a two-pronged approach. We're going to birth it this in Q4 of this year, right after Halloween, as an e-commerce site that is celebrating all things Christmas. Think of a virtual North Pole, where kids and adults alike can come get exposed to curated holiday list. In a couple of clicks, they could order Christmas gifts. They can send Christmas gifts. They could order custom packaging if they wanted to, give out baked goods for loved ones and things like that. We just think that this is a great opportunity for us to celebrate Christmas. We have the domain Santa.com, which is really incredibly valuable and something that we're excited about. And our goal is to really serve kids and families, in the Christmas space in a meaningful way, which we all know migrated in a big way during the pandemic, from retail into e-tail. And we see this as a huge growth opportunity, and we're perfectly poised for that. So again, it's a virtual North Pole. And the other thing is, because we're content creators, we see an opportunity for a new holiday classic. And to that end, we're in development on something called Santa.com. And it is a musical animated holiday special that celebrates Santa and his desire to fully automate the North Pole. So we see this as being really, really fun. The Pirate Princess. This is a feature film franchise that we are announcing in tandem with a major global toy company. And the basic premise of this is that a princess is raised by pirates, and now she's a young lady and a pirate herself. We see this as being a really fun, engaging franchise. It's got a really sweet story, premium animation. This is for theatrical distribution. It will debut in theaters, and obviously we see this having global revenue, marketing, consumer products, and retail extensions that we are incredibly proud of. But there's still more. Let me talk about preschool. Baldwin's Big Adventure. So Russell Hicks, in part of his considerable biography, which included stints at Hanna-Barbera and at Warner Brothers and at Cartoon and at Nickelodeon and at Disney, Russell is a tastemaker and was very, very instrumental in seeing Dora the Explorer, which is now 22 years old at Viacom. It is a cash cow for them. It's doing really, really well. Well, this is a new preschool series called Baldwin's Big Adventure. Basically, it's about a toy train whose father is missing, and he and his buddy take to the rails to be reunited with his father. It's got a strong emotional undercurrent. It's got really valuable life lessons, which are so imperative in preschool programming. And we think that this is going to be mom and dad approved in a big way. And as we all know, with preschool content, it comes amazing attendant, consumer products and retail opportunities, including as far as to live theatricals. Like I said, Dora the Explorer debuted in 1999, and Viacom is currently using it today as one of the additional carrots to lure subscribers to Paramount Plus. So we see this content as having incredible legs. Cats versus Pickles. This is already a hit on YouTube, and it was cultivated by a company out of St. Louis called Sepia. Sepia has enlisted the help of Curiosity Inc. Media to convert this into a proper series, an animated series that is available for global distribution. Here's what excites me about as a programmer about something like this is, first of all, it's cats and pickles, which are all universal, but it's got no dialogue. So think like a classic like Tom and Jerry, or for you Simpsons fans, Itchy and Scratchy, there's no dialogue in there. And so there are no cultural or language barriers that would prevent a show like this from being distributed overseas almost immediately. Typically, a show is birthed in the US, sometimes in the UK, sometimes elsewhere, and then it goes global. This has no reason to not go global almost immediately, and we see this having broad-based consumer appeal, so that kids and adults are going to love it as well. Curiosity Books. So with Curiosity Media, we recently announced a deal with Dynamite Publishing. Dynamite Publishing is a leader in the red hot graphic novel category. When I was a kid, they were comic books. Now they're really dense storyline graphic novels that really engage readers and kids and adults alike. And we're really excited about this because we're working with Dynamite to really birth some original IP, one of which is not on here. I'll just give you a quick top line on it. It's called Thunderous. It's about an Indigenous American girl who lives in Colorado and doesn't understand her grandmother, doesn't understand her connection to her culture until she finds herself, in danger, and she relies heavily on her culture and their teachings in order for her to survive. We think it's a really interesting storyline. We think it's the birth of what could be an incredible franchise, and we're kicking it off in earnest with a graphic novel. So the other thing I just want to point out, because we are a social media company for kids and we care about kids, we think it's really important to promote positive behaviors like literacy. So you can expect some synergy from the publishing side of things off to the social media and across brands as well. So Darren, I'm going to have you walk through the KPIs.
Thanks, Paul. So this might be one of the more important pages in the deck here, only because what it shows is how the brand's resonating with our base. So I want to point out a couple key things here. If you look to the left of the slide, you'll see total monthly active users. That's throughout all of our platforms. We're seeing just over 2.4 million active users. But we've been through an incredible growth rate over the last 45 days since we've launched the Road to Tokyo with our influencer, Caroline. And we're seeing double-digit growth in total sessions, user growth, online duration, and of course, most importantly, new users. So we're seeing a big hockey stick-like trend. So as we get out in the world and we start to engage with influencers and different things, partnerships, we will see this grow. Our goal is to grow to 50 million active users. Now, a user is a parent and a child together. And I think that would put us as a major, major player globally in the kids' entertainment and social media space. The other thing, which might be the most important stat, is our online duration is nearly an hour, 54 minutes. There's only 2 apps out there that have an online duration above that. It's Instagram and TikTok, and it's only a few minutes more. So what this tells me is that the app is sticky. There's people that are using it. They're coming back. They're watching our content. They're interacting with our friends. And our number one source of growth right now is a parent telling another parent, or a child telling another parent. So it's really organic, and we're very pleased with that. We even have the parents on for nearly 2.5 minutes going in and seeing what their children are doing. So we have the engagement from the child and the parent, which we can monetize both sides. Gender breakdown, you can see we try to stay as close to 50-50. Some of our content is geared towards the ladies, some of it's geared towards the guys, and we have a mixture of everything. So that's really important to keep an equal break in gender if we could. Geographical breakdown, I think another thing that I want to point out is even though 47% of our volume is coming within the United States, it has transcended over the pond to the UK and further over to India, Canada, and recently Australia. I think a lot had to do with the fact that Caroline was in Australia competing for a few months, and we saw a spike. So just to kind of sum all this up, we're seeing very good traction. Online duration's a key number. You will continue to see our user growth continue to grow. And that's a direct correlation to how we're going to value the business between owning IP and user growth. Those are how you drive market cap in a stock. And we have two critical components to that. So we think we'll continue to see this grow as we gain partnerships and make announcements. The other side of it is as we launch Pirate Princess and some of these other, we have a breeding ground to show this content to nearly 2.5 million kids now and growing. So there's a live living platform here that kids can watch this on. Views equates to dollars, advertisers like that, and it kind of just snowballs down. But we're in the process of making some really big noise right now. And I'm going to let Paul walk through some of the noisemakers that we just brought on. Paul, if you would.
Yeah, so I said to Darren right from the get-go, it's remarkable the successes that Grom has had historically without making much noise. So the two priorities that we positions that we filled within the company immediately were PR and social media marketing. Let me start with Marianne. Marianne, I hired her away from NBC Universal in the late 90s to come over to Nickelodeon, and she ended up running our LA Hollywood PR office. So she's phenomenal. She has been an executive. She worked with Nickelodeon, NBC Universal, Sony Domestic Pictures Television. She has led the PR charge on helping to make SpongeBob, Dora the Explorer, and things like the Goldbergs, and even more recently, Better Call Saul, a big success. So we see her as being really instrumental in helping us to take things like Caroline Marks, for example, and cultivate her as talent, okay? And to take Grom into Hollywood so that the major players know that we are here and that we are in the business of original IP. We think it's really exciting. Concurrently, I also enlisted the help of another friend, and that's Rich Barry. So Rich used to be with Viacom Media Networks. They loved him domestically. They plucked him to work on a lot of international programming. He helped oversee the international version of the Kids' Choice Awards, and he's a rock star. We're really happy to have him. So the combination of PR and social media marketing, we think are going to really have a profound effect on our ability to reach consumers and to grow these brands at the same time. So why don't I just sum it all up for you, which is really because I feel like there's a lot that we've thrown at you, but why Grom? We're poised and ready to entertain today's kids and family like no other media company. I started here March 8th, 4 or 5 months ago, and the company is drastically different than it was even then. So we now have original programming that's coming through Curiosity for the content-starved subscription video on demand market. Let me just sort of give you a little color commentary on this. We all know that Netflix, announced their numbers yesterday. They're having difficulty meeting their subscriber numbers, and they've been behind in delivering on content. So there were two breakout success stories in the entertainment industry last year. One was Disney Plus. The other one was HBO. So HBO Plus, sorry. And what that did was those two companies, they fortified their brands with a lot of kids and family content. And that woke Amazon, Hulu, Paramount Plus, Netflix, everyone, that woke them up to the idea that if you want to retain and attract new subscribers, one of the big ways to do it is parents of young kids. That's what we're bringing here at Grom. We want our original programming to be the thing that saves the subscription video on demand services. So we're really excited. It expands our customer base, and we've got great content. We want to be a consistent source of premium animation production for top drawer animation. Like I said, we have 450 animators in Manila, and now we have a presence in Hollywood, so that if Russell Hicks needs to speak to Marjorie Cohn, the head of Universal Kids, or the Brian Wright from Netflix, or any of these key people, They're a phone call away from Russell. Russell's grown up with most of them. He has a relationship with them, and that streamlines the opportunity for us to sell our services. We're committed to kids, keeping kids safe in school, and we are really rolling up our sleeves to bring Grom Social to the next level, because we do think the thing that really sets us apart is we are a COPPA compliant app that's exclusively for little kids. Little kids want a social media experience as well, and regulation is coming. I guarantee you that is going to have to force some of these social media companies to really clamp down and frustrate the process for younger kids trying to get onto the site. So the new Grom, we're premium family-friendly content and social media, and now we have cross-platform synergy that we fundamentally believe is going to drive awareness, distribution, and series development that's going to unlock great potential for us. So Grom, we're seriously safe, we're seriously entertaining, and we're seriously satisfying. So Darren, if I could turn it over to you to sort of wrap things up, and we can open up for Q&A.
Thank you all. I really appreciate everybody attending. We have some time for questions. If you'd like to put them into the chat window here, we can certainly do our best to answer all of them.
Thank you, guys. Great presentation.
Thank you very much.
Really wonderful presentation. There are so many questions for you guys. We don't have time for all of them, but we do have time for a few. We just really hope that you'll join us again and have a longer presentation so we can really get all the information out there. Let's start with this. What's the average age of your users? The kids, not the parents.
Do you want me to take that, Paul?
Sure.
It's kind of a KPI question. So we see sweet spot between like 7.5 and 9.5 to 10 years old. That seems to be where we really pick up a lot of traction. But what's happening is they're starting to trend down. Kids are getting phones younger. They're getting exposed to social media younger, which also makes our platform even that much more important because they're more naive to how to use social media and the do's and don'ts. And we also teach a digital licensing course on there, the do's and don'ts of the internet. We reward them either at the school level or with power-ups or assets or digital merchandise, a digital currency they can buy merchandise with, teaching them how to be good digital citizens. So it just depends on when they get on, but we still like that, call it 6.5, 7 to 11 is our real sweet spot there.
And Darren, if I could just add to that, just in terms of, I think it's really important to put it into context. And the context is parents care about safety, kids do not, right? For kids, it's all about the user experience, and you want to make it great for them, but it's really important to facilitate buy-in among parents. And I think as we approach our communication strategy, I'm a father of 3. My sons are a little bit older right now. And I can tell you, I had a very difficult time keeping my youngest one away from loving the same things his older brother was loving, right? So we see real opportunity. If I had a top spin on it, I think the communication should really be targeted to parents of like 2nd and 3rd graders that are the oldest kids in their families, because you really wanted parents to introduce the idea of safe social media. It allows them to participate more fully and have a more dynamic and meaningful experience for the kids.
Well, then you guys need to talk to me, because I have a child, and she's 7 and she watches her mother who's in media. So
right. It's
tough to keep them off of it.
18, right?
Paul, you know who's downloading the app after this is over, don't you?
Yes.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. A question that I get a lot, and I know this is kind of awkward and maybe not in line, but I think it's important that a lot of people don't understand how we, a small company, are so relevant to these multi-billion-dollar mass media companies. And Paul has a great way of explaining our value of not only where we fit in now, but more importantly, where the industry's going. So if that's okay, maybe Paul, you can answer that, because I get that question more than any other.
Yeah, listen. I just think that there's so many different opportunities for Grom, but on the social media side, I think that the opportunities are obvious, right? And we really want to grow this thing domestically and internationally and win the trust of parents. But I also think the competition is so fierce right now for kids and family in the entertainment space, and I think that Russell Hicks and Curiosity Media and all the expertise that we have at Grom is really we understand the business. We know how to cater to the business, and we know how to cultivate a hit. And so I think that this is really where this is Grom's special sauce that we think is really going to give us a competitive edge. I hope that.
Yeah, it was perfect. Thank you.
Well, we have tons of questions for you guys. So we're going to send these to you directly so you can answer them on your own time. But we really would love for you to come back, join us on another conference, and maybe take up a little bit more time so we can have more of a Q&A. It's a fantastic presentation and a very important service that you guys are offering. So I thank you very much for your time in creating this technology.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much.
Appreciate your time.
All right, everyone. It's been a fantastic conference today. 11 companies, all super thrilling to interview and hear what they are doing in so many different sectors. Remember, in just a minute, you're going to be redirected to the registration page for the next conference. So be sure to stay on to reserve your spot early. And on behalf of all of us at Emerging Growth and Investors Hub, I'd like to thank all of our presenters, our attendees, for helping make this Emerging Growth and Investors Hub joint conference such a great success. Now, yes, remember, a complete replay of this conference separated by company will be made available on the Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. Please subscribe there and you can watch all of these presentations again on your own time. And be sure to follow us on Twitter @EmergingGrowthC. We post all new information on Twitter first. I'm Anna Berry, and on behalf of myself and everybody who made this event possible today, I wish you a great rest of your day, a profitable week, and we look forward to seeing you back on our next conference. Thank you all for watching.